So is the liver gallbladder cleanse legitimate, right? This is a popular debate topic, and it's sort of an information warfare. It's like my word and other natural health people versus the medical establishment that doesn't have any experience with cleanses. They've never done this specific cleanse. And it's our word versus Google search engine, which is heavily tilted towards basically a pharmaceutical worldview. And so I'm going to give a few points of evidence and really the key takeaways here. So there's a video online by this group called The Doctors, and they used to do segments on TV about natural health topics, medical topics, and they have this one video that's on there called the Toxic DIY Flush. And so they highlight this one person who did like an incorrect version of this technique and they hurt themselves, and they're doing their best to mischaracterize and discredit the flush. And if you go to the comment section, there are literally hundreds of comments upvoted to the top, which are talking about someone who saved their gallbladder, reversed a health condition, by themselves, a family member, a friend who really resolved something by doing this very technique. So there's testimonial after testimonial of how this flush works. There's another YouTube health educator, Dr. Berg, and he's more of the natural health guy, and he has a very supportive audience. And he makes a video himself being like, no, don't do this flush here. Instead, do this stuff for your liver. And his comment section, which again is usually very supportive, basically reprimands him. And again, it's anecdote after anecdote being like, sorry, Dr. Berg, but you're wrong on this one. This flush helped me save my gallbladder, helped me lose weight, helped me reverse this autoimmune illness. And so that's sort of the nature of the liver gallbladder cleanse phenomenon, where it's sort of this random technique. It's not the easiest thing to do in the world, although it is quite doable, in which whatever's going on, it appears to improve people's health. And I can say, as my own testimonial, this is the cleanse, after trying many different cleanses, that brought me from being unwell in chronic illness to being well. There were other things along the way, but without this cleanse, I don't know if I would have been able to break through the bottleneck of basically not being able to detoxify well and just being stuck in this state of chronic fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues. And so as I kept doing this cleanse, my level of health just got higher and higher over time and allowed me to be tolerant to other sorts of treatments, other sorts of interventions. When it comes to the actual debate over what is being released, right? So when people do this cleanse, they'll have hundreds, sometimes even thousands of these like little green stones that are released. And those are not gallstones, right? So you can release a gallstone through this cleanse, but what is more likely being released is something from the liver. So Johns Hopkins and other research universities knew back as far as the 1980s, 1990s that there are intrahepatic stones. So these are stones in the liver, and that's actually a majority of the stones in the liver gallbladder complex. And so Andreas Moritz and others who have studied this flush had many, many reasons why the things that you're seeing in the toilets are actually coming from the liver, these little green pellets. And there's all sorts of points and counterpoints. What I would say is this argument over the nature of the stones is sort of a red herring argument. It's a distraction because doing the flush is something you have to experience for yourself and has brought so many people legitimate improvements in their health when other things aren't working. And so that's why I think it's such a valuable tool. And so we could argue about the stones all day. I don't really pay attention to them much anymore. I will say one thing, which a lot of people experience, is that when I first started doing the flush, I would see maybe upwards of 100 stones come out, including some stones that were like the size of a golf ball or bigger. And now when I do it after doing this repeatedly, I'll get like 10 or 15 out. And this is a experience many people have, which sort of, again, indicates that it is something coming from the liver. Otherwise, you would get a consistent output throughout time because you're having the same exact mixture. It's the same exact procedure the day of the flush. And so if it was just soapstones, which some people claim, and again, I'm somewhat agnostic on whether it is or whether it isn't, my focus is telling people about the value of doing this cleanse. But if it were just soapstones, you would probably get a more consistent output. And some people who have a really backed up liver, they'll do 2-3 flushes. They don't get anything coming out, right? They're just so congested. And so there's such an inconsistency in the stones coming out. People will release these stones during coffee enemas. People will release these stones before they drink the mixture. People will release these types of stones when they have a gallbladder attack. People will release these stones whether they use olive oil, avocado oil, rice bran oil, which are all different colors. And so there's a lot of interesting points and counterpoints. But again, a little bit of a distraction. Overall, is the cleanse legit? I would say absolutely legit. I would say it can be an absolute game changer for your health. And so you have to experience yourself, right? It goes from, when it comes to your health, You take things in on the mental level, and then you have to experience it. You have to put it into action.